Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Salem. Tonight I wanted to continue our discussion of the ancestors, and in particular I wanted to address a question from Sweet Strong Woman, who asked me to expand further upon the relationship between this life and the next. And in speaking to this, we are also speaking to the nature of the relationship between spirit and matter, between deity, the soul, and the incarnation. I want to emphasize that the vlog format is a very short format that only allows the briefest discussion of these things, and also that this is really high theology. So I will do my best to give you the gist of it. But to fully understand it, you really want to research more. You also want to meditate. You want to think about it. A vlog is not necessarily the best way to impart the fullest understanding. However, having said that, let me attempt to address the relationship between this life and our spiritual existence. My understanding of the relationship between this life and our spiritual existence is that they are reciprocal in nature, that each one helps the other. I consider the relationship between this life and the next to be comparable to the relationship between God and Goddess, between matter and spirit, between the incarnate and the discarnate, etc. And neither one is more important than the other. Now, it is true that this physical incarnation is temporal in nature and constantly changing, constantly renewing itself, constantly dying and being reborn, whereas the spirit is like one long train. But in order for the spirit to move forward, it must have the transformation of physical incarnation. Without that transformation, the spirit just kind of sits there. It needs to be moved forward through the medium of the physical world, and I believe that this is ultimately the reason for the physical world, ultimately the reason why Goddess separated God from herself, creating the physical world, and what she found so beautiful about the change, the transformation, the constant motion, renewal, and rebirth. And that as we go forward, as we live and experience in our physical lives, so too our soul, and through our soul our monad, and through our monad deity itself, experiences grows and changes with us. And all of our experiences, the totality of every experience that's ever been, human and otherwise, enriches deity and moves deity forward and gives deity understanding of itself. And just as we are engaged ultimately in a voyage of self-discovery, deity through us is engaged in a voyage of self-discovery. And deity is not static. Though it is eternal, through the medium of the physical world, it is constantly growing, expanding, and deepening its own understanding of what is. So, that basically describes my understanding of the relationship. One other thing to say is that my understanding also is that the ultimate goal of physical existence is that all of the aspects of the divine will be increasingly manifest in the physical until eventually they are totally manifest through the physical in a conscious way. And that all of life becomes progressively more conscious of itself and its spiritual nature and all of things inherent in that spiritual nature. And that eventually the separation between what is physical and what is spiritual will cease to exist. But it won't be like as it was before creation, because when we think of existence before creation, we think of chaos. We think of all the things that have become the physical world, basically without order. Whereas when we speak of reunion with deity, we're not necessarily speaking of a return to chaos, but rather of a coming together of all of these aspects of existence and all of these experiences and understandings and abilities in a very conscious and intelligent way. So, I hope that helps to shed some light on the idea. I realize that this is a very short description of it, but hopefully it helps to at least give you some food for thought. And so until next time, I wish you blessed be.